Alright everybody, so in this video I'm going to be trimming the right hand side exhaust ports, and got the left hand one here, and as I said in the previous video, I reinforced the inner door with cardstock because it's pretty flimsy, and we do want to get this trimmed. The part needs to be trimmed in order to fit between these two bulkheads and these two stringers. You can see the one for the left hand side is cut, and it should fit roughly like this. Now, in this case, this one fits on the left hand side and fits flush all the way around. It's a slightly different position, I think, of the notch on this side, so I'll probably be cleaning that up, maybe cutting this notch back just a skosh, as they say. Alright, so hopefully you can see what I've got here. And again, I'm working on about 4 inches of deck width here. That's the way it always is. So I just want to drag the line along the blue ink line that I made, which is the location of the cut that we're doing here. And then we just want to break that out like so. You can see what happens here is with this scrap plastic here, that creates a standoff where the part won't seat properly against the airplane. So this is all part of what excess that needs to be trimmed away. And that's why we're doing this. And once we can achieve a flat fit against the fuselage, then we can do the final sizing of the part. I don't have enough material cut. So we're just scoring along the line. We're not trying to cut through it on these passes. We're just dragging the point of the knife right down the ink line. And the same is true on the sides here. You can see that this plastic curls inward, and that creates a standoff that just won't let the part sit tight to the airplane. So we're just gonna, in fact, I think I used the scissors on the other one. So we're gonna scissor cut these. And we want to maintain a nice straight line there. And as you can see, we swim out a little bit, but that's going to be okay. We'll get her on the final cut. There we go. Alright, so that should take care of all of the standoff, and as you can see, we got a little bit wide here, but that's, again, that's okay. Because what we're going to do now is make our final cuts, and so we want to be up and down, we want to be right here and here and here and here. So we just want to draw straight lines through those marks. And of course we want to check these, so we're going to set the part back up on the airplane and double check these lines. Make sure this is really where we want to be before we actually cut. Measure twice, cut once, as they say in the trade. So, alright, so you can see our lines are right down the bulkhead on either end. That's where we want to be. So now we're just going to make these cuts. And again, we're just scoring right down the ink line. and you just use the tip of the blade here to find the line you've creased, the score cut you've made. And one more how to do it. And now we can probably, yep, we'll get it again. Find the cut with your point of your blade and just keep tracing down it. There we go. And that makes a nice clean break. Alright, let's get the other end. Make sure we're dragging a straight line. And get it going, and there she goes. Alright, so let's check it, and we've got a good line on each end. So now we just need to clean up these lines here. So we're going to mark that and that. This one's pretty close, but we do have to straighten it because it got a little wavy there. Okay, and this line I'm going to try and carefully draw and brace this against the paper. There it is. So you just want to have it where you can lightly drag that line nice and straight. This one's right about here. Alright, and you can see we're getting pretty close to our vents, which is a little risky. Let's see, this goes this way. But that's where the lines need to be. I could probably be, yeah, no, I need to be on these lines. Alright, so now we got to cut these out pretty carefully. So I'm going to set this on the edge of the desk. Hopefully you can see that. We don't want to be here because we've got all this plastic in here. We don't want to crease anything. So we'll get this going right up against the edge and carefully drag the point of the blade right down our line. You don't want to wander off in either direction. You want to go in towards the vents, and we don't want to go out and make a wavy. We want a nice straight line here. You always want to be cutting straight lines. You know, don't get me wrong, filler will help, you know. But if you start right, you should end right. There you go. Get that to crease and come off, and then we'll just clean this up here. Pretty close to our line here. It's okay if we're oversized. We don't want to be undersized, so we got to take care like that. Okay, coming along. Now we just get this other line, reinforce the inside, cut out the vent. Lose our line. There it is. If you feel the tip of the blade wandering off, just stop. Go back to the beginning. Get back into your line, your established straight line. and just kind of willfully drag that blade where it needs to be on the line. Don't let it wave. Okay, there we go. So we're on the money here, more or less. Should probably clean this up just a little bit more. Again, I don't want to create a wavy line, I just want to get back onto the blue line that I made. There we go. Alright, so we're infill here. And again, I keep the infill parts just a little proud, so that when we come in with this and we're overlapping here, we should have a nice gap there that we can use our filler on. And that's what I'm hoping to get when I do it this way. Alright, so now we need to cut these out. So we're going to follow this line here, and then we're going to drag this line here on this side. So the blade on this side will just drag that line, then we'll turn the part over and we'll drag inside here, right? I'm gonna put a new blade in. Got a few cuts on this one now, so I'm hoping you can see this. You know, positioning the camera so where I can capture all the work I'm doing is, yeah, hopefully you can see this. I did tilt the camera out a little bit. Again, we're just dragging the point right along the ink line that we made. We don't want to be aggressive here. We don't want to punch through. I don't want to get going with something here that I can't repair if the blade should slip. So I just want to kind of come straight out here. Remember, I'm going to be using a rolled up piece of sandpaper to clean out these corners. I just about got myself there. You know, if you're making these kits and doing this kind of work, you are going to cut yourself. It's just, you know, it's not a question of if, it's when. But you do want to be as careful as you can be and minimize your risk of that. Some small parts, when you're trimming and cutting and cleaning like this, it's just really impossible to avoid, given the nature of some of these parts. As I say, they're small. You have to hold them sometimes a certain way to get to where you need to be to make cuts like this. And you can see I'm cutting towards my thumb, and there's really no way to avoid it. You just have to be as careful as you can be. And remember, just scoring it, I don't have to cut all the way through. I don't have to put that much down pressure here. I just have to create enough of a crease that the plastic will give way when it's folded in those spots, in those areas where the creases are. You don't want the cuts to wander off into the part. So we get that off. We've got a pretty clean opening there. And again, sandpaper or a rasp, a round rasp like this, will clean that up just fine. It's just plastic. It can't resist the steel file. You want to use one that's fairly fine. If it's rough, it'll snag on the plastic and possibly tear it. You don't want that, right? Again, this is kind of flimsy in here, so I'll probably reinforce it like I did the other one, just to keep it from tearing. should someone pick up the airplane, buy this part carelessly. But that's pretty much it. That's how we clean them up. Now, because of the way this fits on here, when that's on, you can kind of see the balsa side keel there. So what I'll need to do is, once everything is all infilled and I'm ready to put the part on, we'll probably clean away this piece, and I'll set some minor infill back on this side to a point that'll be hidden behind the scoop and won't interfere with the inner scoop, with the inner ramp here. Just angled inward to help support this piece as we cut away all or most of this piece, and then we'll get some black or some of the interior zinc chromate green onto whatever's still here, and that'll create the look we want as we can see into that scoop area. Right? I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about, but this area right here will have to be cut away, and that'll be after this is reinforced. Right? That's those are our two side scoops. We got left hand and right hand. We got this side reinforced. I'll just take a minute, a little bit of cardstock, and I'll reinforce this side and make sure we have a straight cut here. I don't want to go wavering in there. That might have been a little too aggressive. There we go. That's better. Now a little liquid cement on any little pieces and slivers that might be hanging off of that. We'll clean that edge right up too. In other words, I don't have to. There we go. It's a little straighter. This plastic is very fine, and it's real easy to